Hello, class. Sorry I couldn't make it today, but I'm going to read the Declaration of Independence because we were going to read this and we're going to find out what it really meant when we declared our independence from England back in 1776. So here we go. When in the course of human events it becomes necessary for one's peoples to dissolve political bands which have connected them with another to assume among the powers of earth the separate and equal station to which the laws of nature and natures of God entitle them a decent respect to the opinions of mankind requires that they should declare the causes which impel them to the separation. We hold this truth to be self-evident, that all men are created equal, that they are endowed by their Creator with certain unalienable rights, that among these are life, liberty, and the pursuit of happiness. That to secure these rights, governments are instituted among men, deriving their powers from the consent of governed. That whenever any form of government becomes destructive of these events, it is the right of the people to alter or abolish and to institute new government, laying it a foundation on such principles and organizing its powers in such form as to them shall seem most likely to affect their safety and happiness. Prudence indeed dictate the governments long established should not be changed for light and transient causes, and accordingly all experience has shown that mankind are more disposed to suffer, while evils are sufferable, than to right themselves by abolishing the forms to which they are accustomed. But when a long train of abuses and usurpations, pursuing invariably the same object and vices a design to reduce them under absolute despotism, it is their duty to show off such government, and to provide new guards for their future security. Such has been the patient sufferance of these colonies, and such is now the necessity which constrains them to alter their former systems of government. The history of the present king of the Britain is a history of repeated injuries and usurpations, all having in direct object the establishment of an absolute tyranny over these states. To prove this, let facts be submitted to a candid world. He has refused his assent to laws in the most wholesome and necessary for the public good. He has forbidden his governors to pass laws of immediate and pressing importance, unless suspended in their operation till his assent should be obtained, and when so suspended, he was so utterly neglected to attend them. He has refused to pass other laws for the accommodation of large districts of people, unless those people would relinquish the right of representation in the legislature, a right inestimable to them and formidable to tyrants only. He has called together legislative bodies at places unusual, uncomfortable, and distance from depository of their public records for the whole sole purpose of fatiguing them into compliance with measures. He has dissolved representative houses repeatedly for opposing with many firmness his innovations on the rights of the people. He has refused for a long time after such dissolutions to cause others to be elected, whereby the legislative powers, incapable of annihilation, have returned the people at their large for their exercise, the state remaining in the meantime exposed to all the dangers of invasions from without and convulsions within. He has endeavored to prevent the population of these states, for that purpose obstructing the laws for naturalization of foreigners, refusing to pass others to encourage their migrations and hither, and raising the conditions of the new appropriations of lands. He has obstructed the administration of justice by refusing his assent to laws for establishing judiciary powers. He has made judges dependent on his will alone, and for tenure of their offices, and the amount of payment of their salaries. He has erected a multitude of new officers, and sent hither swarms of officers to harass our people and eat out their substance. He has kept among us, in times of peace, standing armies without the consent of our legislature. He has affected to render the military independent of the superior to the civil power. He has combined with others to make such jurisdiction foreign to our Constitution and unacknowledged by our laws, giving his assent to their acts of pretended legislation, recording large bodies of armed troops among us for protecting them by a mock trial for punishment for any murders which they should commit on the inhabitants of these states, for cutting off their trade with all parts of the world, for imposing taxes on us without our consent, for depriving us with many cases of the benefit of trial by jury, for transmitting us beyond the seas to be tried for pretending offenses, for abolishing the free system of laws in a neighboring province, established therein an arbitrary government and enlarging the boundaries so as to render it at once an example and fit instrument for introducing an absolute rule with these colonies. That was just a little bit of the Declaration of Independence, and we will read more the following day. Thank you, students.